Hello, Whittier Warriors. I am so excited that we're going to be starting school again in a couple of weeks, which means that I'll get to see your lovely smiling faces and hear your beautiful, excited, hopefully, voices. Even though we will be going to school virtually for the beginning of this year, I know that it's still going to be an exciting time for us all to learn together and to be together and for us to start off with another wonderful year at Whittier. So today I'm just going to be doing a quick review of Microsoft Teams. We're going to be talking about both how we're going to use Teams and how we sign into Microsoft Teams. As you may recall from the spring of last school year, Microsoft Teams is the main platform that DCPS uses to access classes, both live and pre-recorded. Teams is also where you'll be able to get announcements and messages from your teacher, as well as sending messages to your teacher. You can schedule meetings with your teacher and your parents through Microsoft Teams. You'll also be able to participate in classroom discussions, get your assignments and turn them in, and make sure that you're getting and giving feedback both from and to your teachers and from your classmates as well. All of that can be done through Microsoft Teams. Since it's such an important part of us going to school virtually, we want to make sure that you're comfortable with how to sign in and the different ways that you can do so. So I'm going to be going over those with you today. The first way to sign into Microsoft Teams is just signing in through Microsoft's website through any browser. So I'm going to be using Google Chrome, but you can use Firefox, Safari, Microsoft Edge, Microsoft Internet Explorer, any browser will work. What you're going to want to do is open up your browser. Maybe your browser has a homepage of Whittier Education Campus's website, like mine. But no matter what your website, your homepage is, you're going to want to go up to the bar up here and put in the URL portal.office.com. Now, when you go to the portal page for Office, it's going to ask you to sign in. I'm going to sign in using a student's account. So if you had signed in earlier, you might see your student ID number already in there, in which case you could just click on your name. If not, you'll want to click sign in using a different account, and you're going to sign in on this page. Your username is your student ID. So that's a 7-digit number that everyone should have memorized, but if you aren't sure what your student ID number is, you can contact us at school or contact your teacher. For a pretend student, let's say that their student ID number is 1234567. So for that student, they would put in their student ID number and then put at students.k12.dc.us. Then they would click next. Now, since that's not a real number, I'm going to put in the number of an actual student, which I'm going to blur to keep their information private. So once your information is in here and your number is in as your number at students.k12.dc.us, you're going to click next. And then you're going to enter your password. Your password, just for a lot of other systems in DCPS, is your 6-digit birthday. So that's your 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 2-digit year. For example, if I was born on January 1st, 2005, then my password would be 01 for January, 01 for the 1st, and 05 for 2005. If you were born in 2010, then your year would be 10. So go ahead and put in your password. I'm going to put in the password for this student right now, and then click sign in. It might ask you if you want to stay signed in so that you don't have to sign in every time. If that's a good option for you, you should absolutely click yes. If you want to say no, you can say no. I'm going to say no right now. And then it'll take us to the main portal page for Microsoft that shows us all the different Microsoft 365 apps. Those include OneDrive, where you might have some documents saved, Word, where you can write up some new documents, Excel, where we make spreadsheets, PowerPoint for presentations. OneNote is a notebook that you can share with your teacher. And we've got Sway, which is the kind of system that you can make cool newsletters. And we've also got SharePoint, where you can share different documents, and of course, Teams. So to open up Microsoft Teams, we're going to want to click Teams right here. That'll open up a new tab or a new window, and Microsoft Teams will open up. Now, it might ask you, sorry, excuse that ad, it might ask you if you want to get the Windows app, which is a desktop app, so that you don't have to use the browser every time, or you can use the web app instead. I'm going to show you the Windows app as well because I have that on my computer. There's also an app version that can be downloaded onto a Mac computer. You may find that you like that better, but for now we're going to go through the web app just so you can see how this looks. So once you've clicked into it and are fully signed in, you'll see your main dashboard here. You'll have all of your classes lined up in here so you can see each of the different classrooms. Act like you can pretend like these are your actual classrooms. So when I'm ready for STEM with Mr. Thompson, just like I would normally go to his classroom at school, I'm going to click on the Mr. Thompson STEM class team, and that will bring me into his classroom. Same thing if you're going to music with Miss Peel or Spanish with Ms. Lopez. All of that will be housed in this portal. When it's time for you to go into class or when you want to look at things for that class, you'll click into it. So I'm going to click into test class here, and you can see that there's an announcement from Ms. O'Connell, me, the teacher. Another student has been able to comment on their welcome message, the welcome message from the teacher. I can comment again. And that comment can be used or will notify the teacher that you're in class or that you're somehow interacting with the classroom. Okay. Another way that you can sign into Teams is through Clever, and it'll look very similar. So if you go to clever.com, you'll log in as a student. It might ask you which school you're from, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if it comes up with this page, the first thing you're going to want to do is search for your school. So I'm going to put in Whittier, and you'll find Whittier EC from DCPS. So you'll click that, and then you'll click the sign in for students, student login. Your login will be the same as before, your student ID number. So I'm going to use the same student's number as before, and your 6-digit birthday. Then you click login. Now you're probably already very familiar with Clever, but Clever houses a lot of apps for you to use. You may have been using it over the summer to go on Mayan to read new books. Maybe you were practicing your typing with Typing Agent. Maybe you were using Beanstack to participate in the DC Public Library Summer Reading Challenge. There's lots of different options in Clever for us to play academic games, for us to learn lessons. All sorts of things are in here. So if you're not familiar with it already, make sure you play with it. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to scroll down to the distance learning section and click on Office 365. That will open up that same portal as before. You may need to sign in as before. Since I'm already signed in, I don't need to sign into Microsoft again, but I can click into Teams and it'll open Teams up for me one more time. Now that's how the browser version works. There's also, like I said, the desktop version. So that's kind of like downloading an app onto your computer, which I've already done. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. But if you ever decide that you want to download it for yourself, you can click on your initials in the upper right corner after you've signed in, and you can download the desktop app. There's also a mobile app that you can use on your phone or a tablet if you'd like to use that. It looks pretty similar, but because it's on a smaller screen, some of the functions are a little bit different. You'll just need to play around with it so that you can get used to it. So I recommend that you do that before classes start so that you're not fumbling around with it on the day of class. So when it comes to using the desktop app, I'm just going to open mine up. We're going to sign in again, same sign-in information as before, your student ID number at students.k12.dc.us, and then your password, your 6-digit birthday. Click sign in. Now, the nice thing that I find with the desktop app is that I never have to sign out. If you decide that you don't want to sign out from the browser, then that might work just as well for you. It's really just all about your personal preference. Now, I want to show you just what it looks like to have a meeting going on for class. So say I've logged in because it's the beginning of my day. I know that I have class today for my test class. So I want to make sure that I'm ready to go. So it's 2 minutes before my test class. I'm rushing in and I'm making sure that I'm all prepared for class. I click on test class and I'll see that my teacher, in this case, me, Ms. O'Connell, has already started a meeting. So I'm going to click join in order to join my live class. Now, right now my camera is not on, so you can't see me, but normally you would want to make sure that your camera is on, but you want to join your class with your microphone muted. The reason for this is because if there's a class that's already started, you don't want to interrupt in the middle of someone possibly saying something. It's always most polite to start off muted, and then you might be asked to unmute yourself to respond to different questions. So then you hit join now. If you want to also, you're not going to be able to see it because my camera's not currently working, but this is to blur your background in case you don't want your full background to be seen. So I'm going to hit join now. And now I'm in the class meeting. Now, because I'm muted, it's giving me an alert that I'm muted because it hears that I'm talking but not actually broadcasting that sound to the meeting. That's okay. I want to show you a couple of the features here while you're in class. This is to raise your hand. So if you want your teacher's attention to be able to answer a question, you can click this to raise your hand and your teacher will get a little notification saying that somebody raised their hand. If you realize like, oh no, never mind, that was a mistake, you can click it again to lower your hand. If you would like to see the comments, you can click on this little speech bubble button and you can look at the comments in class. Your teacher may ask you to write if you're present. Oops, I misspelled that. So you might write present when you get into class if that's what your teacher likes. Your teacher may also want you to write things in the chat to answer questions or to just show if you agree with something. The conversation piece there is very helpful when you're having a classroom discussion. The last piece on this toolbar I want to draw your attention to is the Show Participants button. It looks like two little people. That is so that you can see the list of all the people who are currently in a meeting. So you'll be able to see which of your classmates are there and whom you might still be waiting to hear from. When it's time for you to finish with class and time for you to log off of it, you're going to hit this hang up button. And then I've left the meeting. Now, these tabs on the side are also really useful. You might want to go to this assignments tab to see if any of your classes have assigned you anything. You shouldn't see anything right now. Your calendar might have a schedule of your classes. Right now, again, you won't really see anything because classes haven't started yet, but it's good for you to take a look at every once in a while. And if we go back to Teams and go back to the main portal, you'll be able to see all of your classes again. Couple of reminders for inside this portal. If the name of a class is bolded, that means that something new has been posted in there that you haven't looked at yet. So make sure you pay attention to especially the classes that their names are bolded so that you don't miss out on anything. Last reminder, there's this discussion board for every class where you can write in to respond to the conversations. This page should only be used for class purposes. We don't want everyone having just like out of school social conversations on these because this is Microsoft Teams is for school. It's not for regular socializing. We're going to hopefully have some ways for you guys to also have some fun, but this should not be used after hours for just talking about non-school things unless your teacher says it's okay. Okay? So just make sure that you're using it for the right purposes. Hopefully that quick overview gives you some helpful information about how to use and how to log into Microsoft Teams. If you have any questions or you're confused at all, please leave a question in the comments and we'll make sure to get back to you as soon as we can to help you out. Thanks everyone, and I'm so looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.